reverse of the game in D.C. It was I think we were ahead with 4 or 5 minutes left in the first half, and they went on a great run to end the half and start the second half and created separation. And we did exactly the same today. We cut. I think they only scored 2 of their last 10 possessions, and we rattled off looks like 8 out of 10 to end the half. That was a really critical part of the game, and then I think we scored 10 of 11 possessions to start the second half and created the separation that we needed. Looked like it was going to be the Micah Peavy show there for a while. We went under a few screens early. He made us pay, and then a couple scramble situations. He hit some shots, and then we just decided to put Jemiah on him with a little bit more quickness, and I thought he did a really good job from that point forward. But it's a hard guard for us because of the 5 out. It pulls Kalk away from the basket, so we had to roll the dice with a few of their guys to try to keep him down there where he does such a good job protecting the rim.
Questions for the student athletes first.
Ryan, I guess considering how good of a start Micah got off to, that could have been really lopsided really quick. When you see what Jasen kind of gave you early to kind of keep you within striking distance of one run changing it, what did you see from him?
I think in general we didn't make his shots super easy. The first few were easier. We would have liked it, but that kind of stuff wears into those guys on the other side when we keep making them take tough shot after tough shot, and Jasen does that at a really, really high level for us. So he does a good job staying with the process and just continuing to make shots tough.
Hey Ryan, from a health perspective and just from an effectiveness standpoint, how would you assess your performance today?
I thought it was solid. I feel good from a health perspective, but everything else was okay. Not great, not bad.
Kalk, what was that moment? I think you had back-to-back buckets that put you guys up 14. You turned and kind of roared into the air. What was that moment like for you?
People want to see me show a little more emotion because I'm so even all the time. So I was trying to let my emotion out a little more in the game.
You feel that in those moments, or is that just kind of a release that you're letting out now in your farewell tour?
I feel it in those moments. I'm just normally so level-headed that doesn't come out in the scream, but just letting it out more now.
Jasen, I think Peavy missed 12 of his last 13 after he tried to dunk on Kalk the first time. Did you feel like that changed the game as much in the moment as it did, on paper?
I feel like it did. Anyone who challenges Kalk at the rim is going to have a pretty tough time, and I feel like that could have gotten his head a little bit maybe, but we had to switch the matchups a little bit, and we had Jemiah on him for a while, and I think he did a really great job containing him, and I just feel like after that switch we just did a really good job on him.
Okay, so what did you and Jemiah do to kind of turn his faucet off after the first, I think he had 18 the first 13 minutes, and then Matt said missed his 12 of 13. What did you guys do to force him into that?
And there wasn't really too big of a switch in what we did. We still just tried to force him into tough shots because that's what we do as a team. And Jemiah's a little bit quicker than I am, so I feel like he was able to cut him off a little bit better. But, overall, we didn't really switch up too much of what we were doing. We just chased him over more screens than what we were starting off with, and it helped out a lot.
What got you in attack mode early? Like I said, that might have been a big Georgetown lead if you weren't scoring at the level you were scoring at. What got you going?
I feel like it was just I saw opportunities there, and I know that I can take them, especially in this stage. I feel really confident right now. My confidence has been increasing, and I just feel like whenever there's an open opportunity for me, I'm going to be able to take those shots and make those shots.
Ryan, how big was this for you, given the 2 losses and coming off the bye week, just to get back in the win column here?
Obviously, anytime you come off a loss, you want to get back on the right path, and the bye week was probably a good reset for us. So, starting this last stretch on the right foot was huge for us. I think we just need to keep a high level of focus going into each game, taking it one game at a time. But getting off to a good start for this last stretch is huge.
Ryan, Cooley talked about your guys' connectivity, and maybe that's the biggest difference from the first meeting. Do you think today showed how far you guys have come as a group since a little over 2 months ago in D.C.?
Yeah, I think we're just a completely different team in terms of, how we play with each other and how we just make things happen for each other. So, we always like believed in each other from the beginning of the year. It was just a somewhat different group, so just finding that chemistry and working together and staying with it, and it's come a long way.
Time for one more. Did you know Jemiah
Oh,
needed the assist when you kicked it to Jackson?
I feel so bad, man. I had no idea. If I knew that, I would have absolutely shot it. I had no idea. So, sorry, Jemiah.
I think you would have made it, huh?
Oh, yeah, it was going in.
Thanks, guys. Thanks, guys.
And your best constantly wins. What kind of like a psychological effect do you think that had on the game?
Yeah, I mean, it just, I've said it many times. It's not just the shots Ryan blocks. It's the ones he changes, and then it's impossible to statistically figure out the ones they just don't take because he's there, or they don't even run one of their go-to plays because they know he's back there. So he changes the game so much on the defensive end of the floor and on the offensive end of the floor. But it allows us not to have to be too aggressive if we get beat, knowing that he's back there, and that we won the analytical battle of the free throws tonight. That was important, even though we didn't shoot him great. But he's one of the he's a unique defensive player, and one of the best that I've ever coached.
16 assists, 3 turnovers between your two primary ball handlers. Obviously, last time against those guys, turnovers was a big problem. What do you think of the way they ran the offense?
Yeah, they handle it much better, and I think PV probably surprised us in DC with his anticipation skills and his physicality on ball screens and handoffs, and I think we were a little bit more prepared this time for what he's elite at. But this, like I said, Georgetown, Ed does a great job with them. They just beat Providence by 20 with the same team. And they play a little bit different without Sorber, and in some ways it's easier, and in some ways it's more difficult, for a team like us.
Jasen's always been impactful with his energy and his defense. Over the last 4, he's averaging 10 points a game. What does that do for you guys when you're getting point production out of him in addition to everything else that you've relied on him for?
Yeah, I mean, we need him, especially, it's really 4 games in a row we haven't shot the 3 very well, and had some decent looks. I thought Jackson and Isaac's looks in particular were really good. So we need another scorer when we're not shooting it as well. And Jasen can score in different ways. He's getting out in transition, really putting pressure on the rim in transition. He's posting a little, and then he's picking his spots on when to shoot the 3-point shot. And he doesn't. His statistics defensively don't jump off the page at you, but when you watch him, rewatch the film, he's in the right spot. His shot challenges are really good. And he does a good job of cleaning his guy up and making sure he doesn't get offensive rebounds.
Mac, how do you think Ryan kind of came to life and played just as the game went on today?
Yeah, I mean, we had a hard time finding him early. They really rotated and scrambled to him really well, and really the only way he was going to score is if it was something really quick. But he picks his spots, and I thought his physicality with his post-ups was good. Got a couple in transition to start that second half where he really sealed them up the floor, and Steven was able to deliver the pass on time and on target. So, he obviously he means a lot to us, and I thought we did a good job, especially in the second half, getting him touches.
I think they started like 6 of 11 from 3 or something like that. Is that? But you guys didn't seem to panic. Is that one of those things that you usually talk about, where let's see if they hit them for 40 minutes?
No, I mean, you just don't. You don't ever panic, especially early in the game. You try to do your job a little better, and we had decided to cut some of his screens. Like he's an improved 3-point shooter, but that's still not what he does. But once he hit a couple, like we made the adjustment. We switched the matchup. And try to slow him down, and obviously you slow him down, and somebody else gets going a little bit. Epps walked into a few that we can't have him walk into. So, but he's a good player. He's a really good player. But we don't panic. Win a game, lose a game, good stretch, bad stretch. You got to just kind of move on to the next play.
As a rebounding has maybe slipped a little bit the last handful of games too. Today you kept them off the glass for the most part. Especially, they're top 4 in the conference in offensive rebounding.
Yeah, we did a good job there, and I thought we got there ourselves, and that was a big difference in the game for us to keep separation. Those second chance points and second opportunities was really good for us. So we've always done a pretty good job blocking out. We have some bad matchups at some places just because of our physical size, but I think our guys fight.
What would you like about Jemiah once he got switched on to PB? What was he able to do?
Yeah, I mean, he just he can cut some screens and get back. Because he's so quick and so athletic and he's long. He's quick off the floor to challenge those shots. So I just thought he made him take more challenge shots. As I think about the game, I don't remember very many where he was wide open after that early stretch. So Jemiah took that challenge to heart and did a really good job with it.
I think to start the second half too, Jackson was on him.
Couple switches,
Yeah,
and Jackson made him take a tough one right inside the top of the key. Jackson's improved so much defensively. It's really incredible from where he was in November to where he is today. I think he goes out and gets 8 rebounds, even though he didn't shoot it well. And oftentimes a freshman, even late in the year, if their offense isn't going well, they don't impact the game in other ways. And I think Jackson's past that point. Whether his shot's going in or not, he's doing other things to help us win.
Mac, you mentioned that this game was almost kind of a reversal of how it played out in D.C. Is that kind of a good sign for you for where this team is versus where they were?
Yeah, I mean, compared to that was over 2 months ago. We've come a long ways, and there's still 4 really important games left as we finish conference play and try to jockey for the best possible seed in the Big East tournament. And if we end up with a good seed in the Big East tournament, we end up with a pretty good seed in the NCAA tournament. So. I think our guys understand the value and importance of every game, and our focus needs to shift relatively quickly to DePaul and that game on Wednesday.
2 more.